knowing there's something better on the other side, or you can give up and stay where you are. And everybody
ready to dive into these topics.
Let's get into these covert contracts.
I got some new apparel coming out with super style.
Leadership is about making sure that things get accomplished in the most effective manner.
You are a relationship guru, right? Listen, I think you're a relationship guru. I think you are a fitness influencer.
Kind of like mindset in your business.
Why men don't want their women on social media.
I might edit this podcast, put this at the beginning.
It's always good to, follow somebody. That's a smart woman.
Yeah. It's your girl, Gia Macool, and you are here for part 2 with Mr. Zuby over here.
Hello, how are you?
Went not the easy route. She could have easily bankrolled, just like all the other girls do in this industry.
Hey man, you only learn through failure a lot of times. You're
Going through failures, trying again. Don't let fear dictate your decisions, but don't make the same mistakes.
I want to end it off right there because that was a perfect ending.
When you hear women go, oh, I want the nice guy, right? They don't really want the nice guy, okay? They will marry the guy who's the provider and then cheat on the lover, right? And then the same thing goes for men, right? We'll hear I want the good girl, but they don't really want the good girl, okay? They want the freak in bed and the lady in the streets. So you'll see this a lot in different cultures, right, outside the United States. And they will view women in very singular roles and have a tendency to easy to check off boxes. Okay, she's the mother of my children, right? But then they'll go off and they'll take a trip to the States and they'll have fun and do whatever and hide it from their wives, And you kind of have to ask yourselves why. Why are they doing this? What is the root cause of this? And I kind of want to get your viewpoint on it. What do you think this is?
Being tacked down into a singular role, I think you have to fight against that and just sort of, like you said in the topic, wear the multiple hats, show your husband that, yeah, you can be a mother and fun in bed. So I think it's a lack of communication between the husband and the wife. I mean, the husband telling the wife that that's what he would really like, or is he just looking for it somewhere else?
I think human instinctually, they want the best of both worlds. So they want both sides. And instead of understand that each person individually can take responsibility for that with the right communication, as you mentioned, they would rather just point blame, right? Or just say, oh no, this is bad. They like to label things good and bad when they're really not good or bad, right? It's just that it's somebody who can versus somebody who can't. I always said, I say this a lot online, those who can't will always hate those who can. So when we talk about wanting a wife who's down for adventure, who's enthusiastic about sex, who, not just desires sex, but wants to please her man, right? She wants to be this fun person that he's constantly coming back to, or he, really enjoys to be around. But at the same time, she has to also be loyal, nurturing, a caregiver, dependable, and that fulfills the comfort side of things. So when I hear people talking about online, oh no, you can never get comfortable in marriage, I think it's a little unsustainable because you miss the point. You need both. You cannot be in a discomfort stage 24/7. I think about the gym, and I like to take a lot of the relationship into fitness and health because it really does kind of transcend. There's not every day I'm walking into the gym, I'm not wanting to be there. I'm not, no. Right? I'm sure you're the same way. We don't want to be there. We are struggling to get through that workout, but we know not only is it good for our minds, our bodies, but it transcends everything, right? It makes us more confident. It makes us better in the bedroom. It makes us better mothers, wives, everything. So, we're not always going to want to feel, you could not always want to feel like you're in the gym. When we're going through those exercises and sweating and bleeding and crying, that's a discomfort stage. So why would you want to be in a marriage in a discomfort stage 24/7? It's not sustainable. So there are going to be comfortable points of a marriage, right? Dependability, sustainability. Those are your comforts that you are going to have to do well, but then get out of that comfort zone to do the things like I mentioned in my tweet. I think, what was the tweet? I'll quote it. It said, be a good wife, a loyal supporter, a dirty whore, a caregiver, a mother, a best friend, a bad girl, a good girl, right? When I did that tweet, there was so many people came in and misconstrued the message. What did you take from that?
I think I connected with it. I mean, like you said, when Rob and I go out, I dress a certain way, but if I'm not leaving the house, all bets are off, right? Like you said, the nice lady in the streets, the whore in the bedroom. Like, I mean, when I just recently had our first grandchild, and so when we were there, I was in, mother mode, like helping my daughter and connecting with my new grandson. And then like as soon as I was done with that, like I knew Rob was there to comfort me. And then when we got home, like, okay, mothering role, like take that hat off for a little while and put on wife hat, like you really need to be multifaceted and really just like you can't do it all at the same time, but you need to know when it's appropriate to be doing what. And so and like you said, you need to be able to hit all of those hot topics. We need it all. We can't have it all at the same time, but we need it all when it's appropriate.
Agreed, because in every relationship, there's going to be two dynamics, right? There's the male side, there's the female side. It's how we're both thinking. But when you hear stories about men cheating, we like to point fingers at the man a lot. Like, everyone like, oh, he was wrong. And I'm not condoning cheating. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. But we have to understand that the root problem here, like no one is asking what the woman was doing or what she was or was not doing, right? Like a man, when I speak to men in my counseling and whenever we do anything, we're on one-on-one, one of the biggest things I hear is I don't even want to have sex with her anymore. Like that's what I hear from men. Like I don't even want to have, because it's not even fun. It's not enjoyable. So this comes down to, after a while, a man's just going to stop trying. He's not going to want to do anything with her and he's just going to give up. It doesn't mean that he doesn't stop wanting to have sex. It just means that he doesn't want to have it with you. And that's a very dangerous position to be in a relationship, because you is what opens up the doors to looking. And then when you hear people go, oh, he has a porn addiction. Well, no, maybe just have enthusiastic sex with your husband and he wouldn't want to watch porn, So there's so many things that go into it.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point in your marriage that you felt this way, that you felt, I'm not wanting to have, that desire kind of got turned off? And if you did, how did you bring it back?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we have 3 children, and every time I get pregnant, neither Rob and I like the pregnant body. It's hard for me to look in the mirror and feel confident when I'm pregnant. And then, of course, after you have the baby, there's a certain amount of time that you just need to recover, and you're tired and you're exhausted. And so, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I lost my desire for Rob, but sex was not on the forefront of my mind. And so basically, and Rob and I have talked about this before, I call it calendar sex. I literally would write a day on the calendar. This is the day. If I ask myself on this day, maybe it was Wednesday, have I had sex yet this week? If the answer is no, I have sex that day, because never have I ever regretted having sex with my husband. And so it seems kind of militant, and people are like, but you're just scheduling it. Well, yeah, because I wasn't feeling confident in my body. I had other things going on in my life. I was wearing another hat more of the time because of the life stage we were in. And I didn't want to forget about it. So I wrote it on the calendar. And then, like I said, never have I ever regretted having sex with my husband, but it was a good reminder, like, okay, it's been a week. Like, I like this. I need to remember to put it in my life.
And I want to state for the listeners, duty sex never works. And that's not what we're talking about here. I think we need to really be specific about it. We're not talking about duty sex. Yeah. We're talking about the way women's brains work, right? Women work on habits and rituals. They always have. And whatever she gets used to doing long-term is what she adapts, is how she molds, is what she does. So it's important. And I think, Avis, that's a very smart idea, because what you did was you knew yourself. You took responsibility for your own habits and rituals. You knew that if it wasn't something that you made it a point to make a priority, you were not going, it was going to slowly become a thing. And I think that this happens a lot. Women will gaslight their husbands into believing that not wanting to have sex anymore and being comfortable in a marriage without sex, it becomes normal. They normalize it. And this is gaslighting. This is a manipulation from a wife to a husband. This is not normal. You need that sex. Men are not only wired to want sex more than women, but women are taught that sex, we're taught, anything like kissing, bad. Like my mom was like, turn that off. We weren't even allowed to watch anything like other than PG, but if somebody kissed, she would turn it off. We're taught that like everything when it comes to lust, desire, anything at all, arousal was bad, right? So when girls are raised this way, they literally see lust as sinful or wrong. And then they forfeit their own sexual agency, which is I want to get into next. We see this a lot with feminism too. They'll say stuff like, it's up to a man to turn me on. But then they'll turn right back around and say, I'm independent. I can do it better than a man. They'll say all these things, but when it comes to having sex in their relationships, now it's his job to turn me on. Oh, I'm a microwave. You need to turn me on. No. You are forfeiting your own sexual agency. Sexual agency is that they take responsibility for the fact that that is their job to initiate and to arouse themselves, and their husbands. That's part of, what you take on as a wife. So when women do that, they literally forfeit it. And I think that they don't want to take that responsibility.
I mean, we definitely have responsibility in the sexual agency department. I mean, sex it's 100% like you give in, you get out. And, something interesting is that the more a man has sex, the less a man needs sex. But women are quite the opposite. The more we have sex, the more we want sex. But yeah, and so like the whole turning you on or turning me on, like it can start with either person and it can be just a question in the morning. Like, how did you sleep last night? Oh, that means to me he wants to stay up late, right? So maybe today I wear something a little more provocative around the house so that I'm encouraging his statement because this is something that I want as well. So I think it goes hand in hand, the man and the woman. Yes, sometimes the man takes the initial step, and yes, sometimes the woman. But you can't blame it on the other person, because if it's lacking in your life, you go after it, right? Like if you wake up in the morning and you're like, seems like a good day for sex, like you need to make that known. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And you hear that, I'm sure you've heard of that, right? They say a woman in her like 40s and 50s hits her sexual peak. And I think it's funny because that's not a rumor. It's actual facts. It's not because of menopause or hormones or like what they say it is. It's that these women understand that they control their arousal. They're in responsibility of their sexual agency. They know that their identity, they know what they want, they know what turns them on. They're not waiting for somebody else to force arousal. Women who have been able to stay long-term, I know you've been married a long time, I've been married a very long time. We know it's our responsibility. We know how to turn ourselves on, and we do what we need to do, and we enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
enjoying it is key too. Like being responsive and, enjoying the whole process.
Exactly. And I like we choose to please our husbands. Like we actually make a choice. We're into it. We're doing it every time we're doing it better and better and better. And I think that goes into why our sex lives become better over time. Because now we're not like, he comes over in the car and wants to do something, pull on the side of the road and the highway. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's try it. Like we're not saying no. Wives who are constantly, no, don't do that. Setting these rules, that's just a vicious cycle into he's just going to stop trying. He'll stop trying to do fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
When a woman makes a man's desire Neanderthal, like when she's trying to say this is not acceptable, this is not normal,
Yeah.
That to me is a gaslight. It's her trying to manipulate the perception of what it actually is, what reality is. She had no problem doing it in the beginning when they were dating. She had no problem having this fun stuff, before they got married. Why is it now becoming, abusive or toxic or bad or, When you hear women go, oh, that's porn brain, like they get to use that. Like, no, don't, that's manipulative. You know,
Yeah.
the reason why men turn to porn mainly is because you don't have that desire anymore. You're not looking at him in the way that, you know, he remembers it. And he will eventually, it's like a woman that doesn't get a chance to get the shoes she wants or the bag that she wants or look a certain way in the mirror. She's going to notice every girl who looks the way she wants to, and she's going to be, you know, eyeing it and secretly wanting it. What role do you think women neglect most in marriages? What role, out of all the hats, what role do they neglect most?
I mean, it's got to be the sex.
I think
because as women, I think it's ingrained in us to take care of our kids, to take care of our homes. If we have jobs, 9 to 5, like traditional jobs, like we want to do a good job in that. And then, like we were talking about earlier, we just knock all of the other things that we do for ourselves down below those things. And so I think that is the number one problem is when women get too busy. They don't take care of themselves, which causes a lack of confidence, which means they don't want to be naked in front of their husbands, which impacts the sex. I mean,
and
of
you
all the
have to
women I
also
know,
take into account that a lot of people are just not healthy, right? So they're like walking around, like, let's say, I would say a large percentage of American women were on birth control from a very young age, and they don't understand how that affects their sex drive. They don't understand how that affects everything around them. So they have low T, they are walking around unhealthy, they're not going to the gym, they're not doing testosterone boosting, you know, activities, eating the right foods. All these things are going to affect their desire. And I noticed a huge difference when I started taking a proactive approach to it, you know, when I start seeing what's going on, where my T levels are, you know, everything. When I start regulating it, that changed a lot of things for me and helped me in my marriage. So whenever I talk to somebody, I kind of like try to find out where they are. Have they been tracking? Are they eating the right? Are they going to the gym? And then once you can kind of like narrow down the symptoms, you can start getting closer on to like, now it's just you just doing the work and just actually doing it and making it happen.
I think a special challenge, let your man pick your outfits for 3 days. That will open your eyes to many different thoughts that they're having.
Yeah, what are some, like, give me 3 things that women can do to wear a different role in the marriage?
Well, I think that you ask, here's my closet. What do you think I should wear today? Sometimes I do that with Rob, and the things he picks, I'm like, okay, wow, like I don't ever pick that out of my closet. He probably picked it for me in the store. That I think asking them, do you like my hair? Like ask their opinion because I mean, a lot of like Rob is open to give me his opinion. That's the kind of relationship we have. But a lot of people, they haven't had that and they don't like, they never ask, do you like my hair? Do you want me to do my nails different? What my favorite way that I do my nails for you? you know, um, if you had the perfect evening, ask him, what's your perfect evening? Dirty dishes in the sink and a freak in the bed? Or, like, are we just cuddling on the sofa and watching a movie and then having a glass of wine and or going to bed? Like, I don't know. Like, I think the best thing that you can do is communicate with your man and ask his opinions about things that maybe you're just assuming.
That's a good one. For the ladies that are watching, don't wait for him to say, hey, this is what I like, or this is unacceptable, or this is my, don't wait. Waiting for him to tell you, take the initiative. Go over to him and be like, hey, what would you think if I did this? Right?
Mhm.
Or surprise him, have him come home and you wearing nothing but maybe one of his favorite ties and stiletto heels, and you're sitting there with a great meal on the table with nothing on. Like, actually take the initiative to do things. Don't wait for him. Take it, like, it's super cheap. You can go to Amazon, you can buy a rack for like $30, and then put all the things that he's ever bought you or anything that's you've ever worn for him, dating or whatever, and put it on that rack, right? And then every night before you go to bed, put something on. Stop doing the fuzzy robe. Stop doing the fuzzy old grandma pajama.
Yes.
Okay, there's plenty of time for that, ladies, but not now, okay? Put that on, wear no bra, go over to him, caress him, touch him, be attentive. Don't wait for him. take the responsibility. That is
Yeah.
your responsibility.
Yeah, and make sure he knows you're not wearing a bra. I mean, my efforts were wasted the other day when I took my shirt off and Rob was like, "Oh, you're not wearing a bra." No, how'd you not notice that? Bad shirt, I guess. I'm just saying. You have to
White
tease it a
tees.
little bit. Yeah, you
White
have to
tees.
tease it a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
I like even with, because I don't get really hung up on holidays or anything like that. I wasn't raised celebrating holidays or anything. So for me, it's like every day is you have to do something. Like wake up. If you're going to make yourself breakfast, make breakfast for him. Like don't make yourself something and not make him something. Do it, take the initiative. Go over to him. Hey, would you like this? Or, what do you feel like eating? Don't. That's another thing for dinner too. There was a long time in my marriage that I would be like, well, what do you want for dinner? Now it's like, I stopped asking him that question. Like just have it ready. You know what he likes. You don't need to ask him, just have it ready. So like all these little things, he's going to take notice of it and he's going to say, wow, like she actually is there. She's present. And I think that we live in a world of like, everybody's so busy and in a hurry to go nowhere. Right. Because what are you doing? Like we're all on the phone. We're living to work. It's backwards. It should be simplify your life, do less. You want to be able to be present and only work when you need.